Newtown is a trendy suburb in Sydney's inner west. The gardens here are few and far between. Not somewhere you'd necessarily pick as the epicentre of a new wave of composters. But this is a suburb that's always been known to attract young people and creatives, thinkers, doers, and advocates for change. Tomas and Ellie moved here from the Czech Republic. Their lack of garden meant that their food scraps were just going to landfill. But they took matters into their own hands.
I'm a software engineer, so I decided we could, maybe we could write an app that would solve that problem for us and for someone else as well.
The app connects people who live in small spaces with people who have compost bins.
So let's say you're a donor, so you hit the first button and you see a map.
So that's showing all the different hosts.
Yes, correct.
And then you can just zoom it in and look at how many are there across Sydney.
It's growing. You can send a message to arrange the drop-off to the host. And, you arrange the details, like when the drop-off will happen and what exactly can you bring.
I like that it's so simple. You either want to give or you want to receive.
Yeah, that's it.
I think that in Australia we eat much more veggies and fruit because everything is just fresh and seasonal and we love it and we buy it. But then we realize that most of our garbage bin is just full of compostable, beautiful scraps which could go right into the garden and we put it in the garbage bin. But at the same time, we weren't able to have our own compost bin or our own worm farm because we were renting and we didn't know for how long we were going to stay in the apartment.
The journey through the neighbourhood to drop off the compost has become a weekend ritual. Their host, Lachlan, has a pretty small backyard, but it's big enough for a hefty compost bin, and he's more than happy to share.
All up, I've got about 5 regular people who bring me scraps. I take scraps sometimes every fortnight, sometimes once a month, and then I've got people who visit me as one-offs.
Nice to see you again. Hi.
Hey, nice to see you again.
Costa!
We come bearing gifts.
Fantastic.
Here they are. Let's have a look.
Okay.
Reveal. There's a sack reveal. That's looking good in there.
Thank you.
I don't feel like I'm doing them a favour. I feel like they're doing me a favour by bringing me their food scraps, which I turn into wonderful compost.
Sweet. Thanks a lot, Lachlan.
Bye.
Hi.
The areas where I've been putting compost, it's dark and rich and full of earthworms and it's just full of life.
Lachlan also accepts fermented food scraps, which he digs straight into his soil. Claudia is another apartment dweller and she brings a bin around once a month.
So it's been sitting in the bin for about 3 weeks. Obviously it's all like vegetarian stuff. Just chuck it in.
Fantastic.
I use a fermentation system and it actually takes about 4 weeks it has to stay in the bin. The actual system is enclosed, so if you keep it well closed, you won't have any smells or anything throughout the house. So it's pretty handy if you live in an apartment.
Imagine if every block had 4 or 5 compost bins and all their neighbours were bringing their food scraps to those composts. All that food waste no longer in landfill, all that fuel, all those garbage trucks no longer shifting food waste around, and the benefits in terms of a community that actually knows each other and gets together around compost. I think it's awesome.
Now that the online community has gone global, it connects like-minded composters in cities all over the world. It's awesome to see technology turning waste into a nutrient-rich resource.